So, following the Watkins Glen event, Racecam caught up with the GTE group, as this category is apparently called. I'm not sure how we didn't put two and two together, considering 16 Angels back in Universe 0. So Corsa drove that same Corvette once, and it also said GTE on it. Pretty sure. So somehow seeing it again, albeit with a different number, somehow didn't tip us off that that's what that was. But anyway, GT Endurance. And they have essentially called us, as a whole, kind of bold of them to do that, to sort of a pink slips type event at the Indianapolis Road Course. Apparently it's their home track advantage, so they let the Super Renaults, which we claim they wanted to put near the front of the grid, start first, separate from the other GT3 cars, just because they're curious if we're BSing them or not. We're not. And by we, I mean literally one person. So yeah, it's just E3 is the only one that on hand that would actually drive her car. Drive the RS1 couldn't get a hold of that or 16 Angels or the like. And then GT3. Amy is just kind of here, and Alex decided to take on the idea of beating the GTE cars with his normal Ferrari GT3. Well, I think of all the drivers that I would put on the list of those to do that, Alex is pretty high up there. I have no words. I no longer have words. This is literally my 10th attempt at doing this race today. Okay, it's like my 8th, but... Goodbye! Tired of this stupid Corvette. Doesn't know how to make a corner. As I leave all of these attempted starts in, you'll notice me getting more and more creative with the racing lines, because it's just me avoiding all the potential ways I've been screwed over so far. That's not how you take that! Yeah, apparently this is their home track, this whole group, but they don't even seem to know it. They don't know you can take the chicane flat out. They don't seem to know where the track limits even are at all. We're driving like we're in a public online lobby or something. It's very pathetic to see, to be honest. Alright, it's taken me 9 attempts, but I have completed a lap of Indianapolis without getting yeeted by these stupid GTE cars. It really shouldn't have taken me anywhere near this long. No, I'm going to keep defending, because I've made enough attempts at this race to know exactly what you're about to do, Mr. Ford. Unless, yes, apparently that is a Ford GT back there. It's the Corvette C7R Aston Martins my lights seem to be on. Like older kind of oldish model Aston Martins like this one. BMW M6s, Porsche RSRs. Ferrari 488s like this car, and then those new model Ford GTLMs. Also, there is an RS1 that's currently being beaten by one of the GTEs. But it isn't Neatery, so it really doesn't matter. The win conditions basically state that as long as she beats all of the GTEs, or if I do, which I mean, to be honest, so far it's not looking too prime for that. But yeah, so my first attempt, which I made last night, as I've been trying to mention, it didn't fit on my storage space, but the PS4 has no way of telling me that until I attempt to save the clip and it doesn't do anything. And so today I was like, well, I just raced for 25 minutes as the same car. Yesterday I really don't want to do it again, so I tried to do it as Burn. Unfortunately, that car has no front downforce, and therefore does not accept these tight corners. And since there's a lot of them on this track, that's hell. So I just, eventually after 4 failed attempts in that car, just said, okay, fine, back to the Ferrari. And then it has now been 3 additional attempts beyond that, just to get to this point again. 5 minutes into the race, and that's an accomplishment for me. Because these AI are apparently bats. And my car is on mute. Yeah, echolocation doesn't really work when there's a bunch of cars driving around, game. Also, I actually, like, I had no problem catching the GTE cars before. It was just a hard time passing them and staying ahead because they had more power, but I can't even get to this Aston Martin. He is on something. And he's not even the leader. There's another one, I don't even know what it is, ahead of this RS01. Yeah, I've got 20 minutes to get by it, but their cars are also better than mine. My only hope is the RS01 eventually gets the stuff together and challenges it, like he's supposed to. Because the reason the starting grid actually has the RS01s ahead is because the RS01 trophy car is straight up faster than a GTE, but that one just decides, you know what, I don't feel like actually winning. Just gonna sit here and waste everyone's time. I'm also going faster than I was in the previous attempt. I was running like low 26s before. It took me like 20 minutes to reach a minute 25 lap time. I'm already doing those and I still can't get to this Aston Martin. I beat him in Sector 1, that's my only hope. As soon as I get past this chicane, he does better than me because he's got more downforce on his car. I'm even going faster yet. I almost break into a 24 if I do this lap perfectly. And I'm sticking with the Aston Martin better than I did previously. Also, the car will do these little, like, tease spins, like half slides into the final turn. The further to the left you are in that corner, the less the car does that, and I don't quite understand how that even remotely works. I'm just sitting here at dead heat with this Aston Martin, and I'm not really a fan of any of it. Get off the curb! Like, we have been the exact same distance apart for 2 laps. It's not what I came here for. If I wanted that, I would just watch an F1 race. It seems like the exact same way I've been taking that corner, and now suddenly this time it's a problem. I didn't know I was playing Gran Turismo Sport all of a sudden, where that happens pretty much every other corner. I wish I was kidding, but that's kind of how the driving in that game feels sometimes. Inconsistent. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, kill me! Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, kill me! The RS01 is keeping the exact same distance from the lead GTE, and keeping the exact same distance ahead of the other one. I'm keeping the exact same distance from that GTE, and getting the exact same distance away from the one behind me. We really are watching an F1 race here, just with more fenders on the cars. Although this lap was garbage, so I'm actually changing that because, gasp, I'm a human being, I have the power to do that. I want to make things interesting. Just screw this corner. Otherwise, I don't think anything is ever going to happen in this race. If you can't tell, I'm pushing the car, and I'm actually still being caught up instead of gaining. For the other yellow conga line, and I really need to be part of that nonsense, where everyone's doing the exact same thing. Is this sustaining Alex's, like, clean driver record? Yes, but I also want this to be entertaining to watch. And right now, this certainly isn't. Because all I'm able to talk about is how boring it is, and all you're able to see is how boring it is. Doesn't make for great content now, does it? And unlike sporting events, I don't have jerseys or other miscellaneous merchandise to sell to make the event worth going to. I don't have a Teespring campaign going. Oh, turn, you fuck. Not that much. Oh, turn, you fuck. That's apparently a part of Chapter 3 now, is that the language barrier is going out the window. I just don't care enough anymore. These races are too infuriating to hold it all back for 25 minutes, you know? Especially ones like this. I really wish I wasn't so in between gears for that section. That would be really helpful if I wasn't like right at the top of second or the very bottom of third. Stop! Turn! Corner! Make it! Fuck! Yeah, no, beating the GTEs is out of the question here. I don't know what the class is on with today, but they are a lot better than they were before. Also, finally the RS01 is actually doing his job. He finally attempted anyway, to pass that lead car. which might make things a little interesting, because that might allow that Corvette there. That's not a Corvette, that's an Aston Martin. I've been staring at it for how long now, and I've just now remembered that that's not a Corvette. He might catch up to that group, and then I can catch up to them, and then we actually have content. But this game's AI in mind, that's not going to continue for too long, and we're just going to be stuck back and doing the fucking Macarena. Actually, that would probably be more enjoyable, because that means things are happening. Is there like some sort of like do better button that these GTE cars have? Because that Aston Martin got a lot faster, and the ones behind me also suddenly got a lot faster. My lap times aren't that much worse than they were before. As I say that, never mind, I can kind of see how now. Alex is beginning to look a little bit more like a race cam right now. It also says Ford in giant letters, so I don't know how we never identified that sooner. I know this is gonna work, I've done this enough. Yeah, these AI will just straight up cut those corners. That's kind of why I didn't have too many complaints about myself doing it earlier, because they do it when they're trying to pass me. Which is the #1 time when you're not supposed to do that, because you're affecting, you know, other people besides yourself by cheating. Also, now that I think about it, once the Renault actually gets ahead of the GTE, which I assume he will, before the end of the race, he's just going to walk away, and the GTE is actually going to get dragged up there with him. Through, like, slipstream, which I'm pretty sure the Aston Martin is still getting off of them, but I'm not getting off of anything. And so that's also probably part of why I'm not really keeping with him. Maybe with the daylight coming, though, perhaps the driving characteristics of the cars will change to favor me a little more. That's what I'm hoping. Otherwise, it may just become more of a case of just defense against these cars instead of actually trying to, you know, race aggressively. Please turn. So I pointed it out in the first attempt of recording this, but there's like 4 identical turns on this track. Because a while back they had to remodel it for safety reasons. I think that's usually why any track is changed nowadays, is because it's not safe enough. Just because it's the track's fault that you missed the turn, right? Blah, curb. Yeah, so turn 1, and then the left-hander at the end of the back straight, and then this corner. And the corner after this here, are pretty much the same corner. You take them at the same speed with the same entrance strategy, get on the throttle at the same time, and they're both the same kind of, like, 85, 95 degree angle. And this is what happens when tracks get remade in the modern era for safety, is they all just look the same. Look at Monza, it didn't always look like that either. They added a bunch of chicanes to that one. The Scar used to be one, well, you've seen historic Monza on Universe Zero. The Scar used to be one corner, and neither of those 2 chicanes actually existed when it was created. And I can confirm that the changing conditions is not affecting the Aston Martin in any dramatic way. Or me either. I'm not really going any faster or slower with it, they are gone. And with, you know, it being the sun. Well, luckily is, to reiterate, in the grand scheme of this thing that I'm doing, doesn't really matter how I do. Really, the only goal was to actually beat the GT3s, because as long as one of our characters in the Renaults beats all of the GTEs, we win. So as long as Nitri is, well, ahead of all of them, doesn't matter. And I suppose there's still something to be said about the fact that Alex has beaten most of the GTEs in the much inferior equipment, although I should really not open my mouth, because here comes one of them now. I don't really feel like I missed a turn. Yeah, see what I mean? They just don't care. They'll just cut the track completely. End of this lap should signify 3 to go. Thank God. This just adds to the list of reasons why recording time loop can sometimes feel like a chore. It's basically been 25 minutes of me doing nothing about anything else on the track and just hoping the Ford behind me just pisses off. It never did, by the way. Obviously, it's still right there. Blocked! You can't cut the track if you can't reach the inside. Ha! Don't ever touch that curb, ever, unless you literally want to crash yourself. Unless you wish to die, don't ever hit that. They still have their lights on, guys, seriously? That's early braking, that's the wrong sign. You would think with the collective hour I've driven on this track in the last 24 hours, it would be committed to muscle memory when to actually brake. But no. I just think maybe so before I was chasing after a BMW, and I eventually caught it. But I think the Aston Martin is just a better car than the BMW. Also, I've actually gotten slower as the sun has gone up. But, of course, the AI, being the AI, aren't affected at all. Turn, you motherfucker. That will begin 2 to go. Don't care, they do it too. Eight, eight, eight. It's now the final lap, as far as I can determine. No, the temps aren't off, so that's not why the car's not turning. But I've definitely lost some cornering speed since the sun came up. Okay, where do I brake there again? I seem to have forgotten. Yeah, so Alex could not defeat all of the GTEs, but I beat 4 of them. I beat over half, and our Renaults still beat them all, meaning this is, grand scheme of things, victory. I'm going to skip this cooldown lap. Nitri didn't win, but as I mentioned, she beat all of the GTEs, so it doesn't matter.